Blaise and Giovan were caught passing notes in English class. The teacher took the note. The note read gibberish. The teacher was confused at first. But then he read the text in small letters. Keep Podar. And that's when it clicked him. He asked them who taught them this. They said Julius taught us this in school, and then we modified it. The rest of the class was confused. So the teacher drew a 27 by 27 alphabet square like this. The language Giovan has written in is English only. But it is encrypted. This method of encryption is called Vigenère Cipher. It uses a string of interwoven Cipher ciphers based on the letters of a keyword. It is a polyalphabetic cipher. A polyalphabetic cipher is any cipher based on substitution, using multiple substitution alphabets. Vigenère cipher is also known as
le chiffre indéchiffrable,
French for the indecipherable cipher. In a Cipher cipher, each letter of the alphabet is shifted along some number of places. The cipher alphabet is the plain alphabet, rotated left or right by some number of positions. The key is the number of positions the alphabets are rotated to its right. For example, here is the cipher with key 23. The replacement remains the same throughout the message, so the cipher is classed as a type of monoalphabetic substitution. Now, the Vigenère cipher has several César ciphers in sequence with different shift values. To encrypt, a table of alphabets can be used. Termed a tabula recta, Vigenère square or Vigenère table. The person sending the message chooses a keyword and repeats it until it matches the length of the plain text. Decryption is performed by going to the row in the table corresponding to the key, finding the position of the ciphertext letter in that row and then using the column's label as the plain text. Let's try to decrypt Giovan's message, which is ciphertext for us, by taking one word at a time. The key is the word Podar. Since the keyword repeats to match the length of the plain text we get. Now, the first word is SWG, so we will go to the row of the first letter of the key, that is P. Then we will see the letter to which S is assigned in the first row. We can see it says D. Next letter in our key is O, and in the ciphertext is W. So we go the letter W in row O, and find the letter to which W is assigned. We find that to be I. Now pause this video to decrypt the rest of the ciphertext to know what Giovan's message was. Were you able to decrypt? It said, did you attend Mathematrix? Ciphers were commonly used during the war times. By the 1900s, cryptography was mechanized in the form of encryption machines. The most famous was the German Enigma, used by the Nazis to encrypt their wartime communications. The behavior was defined by a series of reorderable rotors on the top of the Enigma machine, each with 26 possible rotational positions. There was also a plug board at the front of the machine that allowed pairs of letters to be swapped. In total, there were billions of possible settings. If you had your own Enigma machine and you knew the correct rotor and plug board settings, you could type in XWDBJ. And hello would come out. In other words, you decrypted the message. Of course, the German military wasn't sharing their Enigma settings on social media. So the Allies had to break the code with billions of rotor and plug board combinations. There was no way to check them all by hand. Fortunately for Turing, Enigma machines and the people who operated them were not perfect. Like one key flaw was that a letter would never be encoded as itself. As in an H was never encrypted as an H. Turing, building on earlier work by Polish code breakers, designed a special-purpose electromechanical computer called the bomb that took advantage of this flaw. It tried lots and lots of combinations of Enigma settings for a given encrypted message. If the bomb found a setting that led to a letter being encoded as itself, which the real Enigma machine couldn't do, that combination was discarded. Then the machine moved on to try another combination. So bombs were used to greatly narrow the number of possible Enigma settings. This allowed human code breakers to hone their efforts on the most probable solutions. Looking for things like common German words in fragments of decoded text. Periodically, the Germans would suspect someone was decoding their communications and upgrade the Enigma machine. Like they'd add another rotor, creating many more combinations. They even built entirely new encryption machines. Throughout the war, Turing and his colleagues at Bletchley Park worked tirelessly to defeat these mechanisms, and overall, the intelligence gained from decrypted German communications gave the Allies an edge in many theaters, with some historians arguing it shortened the war by years.